Everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about, so what does a Marvel and DC comic book artist get paid when they start out? So just for what we're going to cover in this video, this is not actually talk about with this article I'm going to bring up for us to go over for the video. This does not cover writers. I don't know what a writer makes for the big two. I would imagine it's not that much money because you're only getting comic books that are what, 24 to what, on average 32 pages, right?
Yeah,
So
it's one of those lines.
you're going to have to be essentially writing on a ton of books to actually potentially make a living in comic books. And that's kind of the joke there. It's that, you know, making a living in comic books is not really what you guys think it is. Like back in the day when I didn't know much about comic books, I would like look up history videos. And I think the very first one I really did was I watched like a Comics Explained YouTube channel. And I watched like the Dark Knight Returns video he had, like Dark Knight Returns fully explained, all the things you missed, you know? And I was like, man, this guy Frank Miller wrote a great story here. He's probably fucking filthy rich. Turns out that's not how that works. That's literally how it works. Famous people in comic books are debatably, arguably not actually well off at all. You know?
No, there's some mainstream artists right now at Marvel who have day jobs. So, you know.
Yeah. You know, I was actually surprised someone like Peter David, who was a co-creator for Spider-Man 2099, wrote a lot of good stories that a lot of comic book fans would be very huge fans of. Can't even get Medi-Cal right now, struggling to pay his bills. Like, what the fuck? And these are writers and artists have the same problems, right? So recently, we'll probably cover this in another video at some point. There was this artist named Dustin Gwen who basically gave the middle finger to Marvel because, well, they treat people like straight shit, honestly. They don't value their creators. They don't value anyone except for basically the idea is you should feel honored. You work for us. You want to get paid for your work. Yeah, you know, you get paid for it. But anything after that, we basically own it. You know, you just felt privileged and honored. You gave us your idea. You know, you can get the social media clout for it, but we can make the money. And it's like, I think I'd rather have the money, honestly, you know?
Yeah.
So people were asking, what does an actual comic book artist make from the big two? Now, keep in mind, we still don't know what the writers actually make, but we've already kind of, you know, been spitballing ideas and numbers around for quite some time. And based off the numbers that I've seen from this, it would make sense why more people would want to do their own thing, because in theory, you can do your own thing and make it work. You would get more of the money, obviously, right? So Bleeding Cool had this article come up about, you know, some weeks ago, and around this time period, basically Warren went on vacation, I went on vacation, and then I was like, you know what, let's just cover this when we get back. And as you guys know, on my vacation, I was having sex with a lot of women, obviously, because, you know, I'm not a fucking loser and a nerd, but you guys are probably not going to believe that. So let's go over this. So what does a big two comics artist get paid when they start out? And how close is it to the US minimum wage? Because we know Marvel Comics actually pays people under minimum wage. You know what's crazy? That's the same shit that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers actors got mad at Chaim Saban. That's the same reason. Hey, basically, we could work at like a fast food restaurant and make more money doing that than being in Power Rangers, which is objectively at the time made like millions and millions of dollars. It wasn't even like billions yet.
It was like the #1 kids show in America for a while. So it's like,
and eventually you could go work at Subway or Pizza Hut and make more money. It's like, what the fuck? It's like you're getting all the fame, but you're not getting the money that comes with the fame. It's like, holy shit. So, article summary. Big two pencilers start at about $160 per page, totaling $38,400 annually without benefits. Selling original art can add 15 to 20K, enhancing overall income significantly. convention work, commissions, and covers offer additional income pathways. Creator-owned comics provide future prospects. Digital adaptation varies income. So I would imagine that's more like an Image Comics thing. Like, you don't really have creator-owned stuff here for the big two. Like, I don't know what that even means.
Well, what they're talking about is like if I go work on Spider-Man, then I get recognition for drawing Spider-Man, and then I sell original art of Spider-Man, and then I build up a fan base. Then it's like when people recognize my name, I go do a creator-owned, and that audience that I curated while working at Marvel is well, I'll bring over.
What's what you're saying? It's basically like you're doing this big character that's going to help you get better opportunities in the future, essentially.
Yeah, more people will know who I am if I draw Batman.
Yeah. And then this is the other thing to go over. So let's just say this 38K mark right there. Guys, do you know how much you're in the poverty level at that? That is literally poverty level or slightly above it. So poverty level, I think in the United States, in most states in general, is 30K. All right. So if you're at 38K, that is like barely above poverty level or slightly below it, to a point where you're not even really middle class.
You're not living on the West Coast, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're not living here. I mean, you might be able to live in my city in California off that. Barely. You'd be scraping the bottom of the barrel for that. But you're not living in New York making 38K. You would need like several roommates if you're making that.
Yeah. And this is if you consistently stay on a project all year.
Yeah,
so,
unless you're doing like, because I don't know if it's broken down in this, but I would assume you would need to do more than one book to even fully max out on that amount of money, and you get no benefits. You don't get dental, you get nothing.
If you're at Marvel, you're hoping to be on it for like 10, 15, 20 book run,
Marvel 10 issue. Marvel.
Yeah, but that's another problem. Marvel doesn't get past 15 issues without rebooting. So you're going to be.
Once you said Marvel at 20 issues, I was like, the dream's dead. Marvel 20 issues. Oh, yeah. Well, what's that thing in that movie with James Franco? First time. Fuck Marvel at 20 issues. Holy fucking shit. That's a good year.
$160 a page. You can make more than that working for some indie people. Like, that's for Marvel. That starting out, that's just terrible. That's
also ridiculous. It doesn't say basically like how much they get paid, because from what I understand, fast food places pay like every 2 weeks, so like Starbucks, McDonald's, Subway, all that stuff pay every 2 weeks. Supermarkets, from what I know, people get paid every week. So they don't even hopefully it's discussed here. How many times are you getting paid? Because if you're getting paid once a month for what we're doing here, for what we're talking about here, you surely can't live off that.
Yeah.
That is not even consistent.
I don't know how Marvel does it, if it's done by page turn in, or if it's done with Marvel. It's like you sign a contract and then we give you the money and then you fulfill the contract. Or I'm not sure how they do it.
Too. People forgot.
I know if someone commissions me, you pay as I turn a page in. So if you're paying me $80 a page.
So I did it right here.
Yeah.
So how much they say? 160 a page. So this on average, you're on a 24-page book. So 24 times 160, they said.
Yeah.
And let's say you're on that book, like you said, for the whole month. I'm assuming you're getting paid bi-weekly. So divide that by 2. That's what you get. What the fuck? I didn't put that there. What the hell? I hate calculators. So what was it? 160 times 24. Okay. So then this divided by 2. So you'd be getting $1,920. And after taxes, I don't know where you guys live. New York, they said, fucking hell. I'm just going to go on a round number and say that's slashed to about $1,100. We'll say $1,200 exactly. So you get $1,200 after all that. Because you don't get paid all that money. That's what's disingenuous about this. You don't get paid all of that. All that's taxed in all your paychecks.
Yeah, that's gross. That's before taxes and everything. So
oof.
Yeah.
And this is
and no benefits. The reason why it says without benefits is because that's like 30 or 40 grand by itself having medical benefits. That's you're if you get sick, well, good effing luck, drawer of Spider-Man. Like
You're like sneezing. I'm drinking NyQuil.
Yeah.
I'm drawing Spider-Man, buddy. I'm making it this month. Oh, damn, fuck. Buddy's got it rough out there. There's been a lot of fuss of late. I think it's time to throw down some figures. What exactly does a big two Marvel or DC Comics artist get paid when they start out on their career with the company? What other opportunities are there? And is it really minimum wage labor, as some say? Bleeding Cool crunched the numbers. Oh, let's hope Rich Johnson did a good job. I have been reliably informed that big two penciler starting rates are around $160 a page. Maybe a little bump for the Bat books or Spider/X books, because those are the best titles. Everyone wants to be on those books. But that's where we are. And artists are expected to do a page a day, say over 8 hours, or 20 pages a month. So EVS is not doing that. Well, that's an inside joke, guys. There's no holiday pay or sickness pay in this gig, let alone healthcare. So bear that in mind. So that's $3,200 a month a year. That's $38,400. Say yearly. Keep in mind, it's not factoring in taxes there. You are not getting that. Okay.
Yeah.
In New York, the minimum wage is $17 an hour. 40 hours per week, that's $35,360 a year. But you might get holiday pay. And there's no might there. You're not getting jack shit from these people. Just throw that out there. That's disregarded. Sick pay and health insurance as part of that, maybe. No, there was no maybe. You're not getting shit. There was never a discussion you were getting that.
You have to remember, too, that's said at 40 hours a week at $17 an hour. But you're going to be working 8 hours a day on a page for 20, if it's 24 pages, then you're going to be doing a page a day for 24 days in a row to get it done, 8 hours a day if you did it that way. So you're talking about working way more than 40 hours a week. You're working 7 days a week to get this done so that Marvel can have it. That's for a 24-page book. If they're doing a 32, 36, or 44-page book, because it's something special,
and the monthly thing can apply to that, because as you guys know, these books come out either bi-weekly or monthly. So you yourself, if you want to be ahead of the curve on a 24-page book, you would have to turn in essentially 9 to 10 pages a week to get it mostly done. So the final week of the month, you need to turn in 4 pages. Damn, all that's work in comics. Holy, you must be doing this for the fucking passion, because no one's doing this for money.
And it was $3,200 a month, and then if you divide that, let's see. Well, first here,
because they never specified how many times you get paid. I was just assuming you get paid bi-weekly.
8 hours times, let's say 24 days. 8 hours times 24 days. It's 192 hours. If we go 3,200 divided by 192, you're essentially getting paid $16 an hour for doing 192 hours of work. Yeah, in the month. In that month, you're going to get paid $16 an hour. That's with no benefits, and that's before taxes. So after taxes, that's going to drop down to $15 to $14 an hour of actually what you get into your pocket. And then you have to live in a time period where 30,000 is poverty, and you need at least like 50,000 in some cities. Like in Portland, to live in downtown Portland, you need 200,000. So it's like so you're basically telling me I got to apply for food stamps while basically drawing Spider-Man and Batman. And keep in mind, guys, he specifically stated in here that you only get more money if you're on the big guys. So that would be Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, X-Men, probably Justice League, and stuff like Avengers. So anything that's not considerably big, like you can ask 10 people do you know who this is? That means the rates are lower for characters that no one gives a fuck about. The artist doing the Psylocke spin-off series.
If you're doing Psylocke, you better
you're getting bottom. Yeah. Well, and here's another thing. Like Marvel says there, you can sell the pages at commissions and do commissions, and also do stuff off of the. Essentially, what
That's the
Marvel's
thing,
saying is
shouldn't
we're
we be
giving
doing
you clout.
commissions? Yeah, essentially, because earlier it's said you can sell your work for commissions. Like, no fucking shit. But
Yeah.
it should be, if I'm working for Marvel, I shouldn't even have to do that. Why do I have to? I mean, if you want to do side work to make more money, that should be because you genuinely want to do that. If you work for this company, there should be a level of money you're making here where you don't even have to have that as an option. You know?
What's funny is Marvel's essentially like the world's biggest clout business. They're just like, dude, you're getting so much clout from
You're getting
us
paid an exposure, man.
that
You
I'm
should
going to
feel
pay
honored.
you. Yeah, you're getting exposure bucks. So you should use those exposure bucks and leave me alone. Guy in Brazil loves 160 a page. So
Oh, for sure,
shut
yeah.
up. You know, it's like
But you don't have to live in New York with New York expenses or Burbank either. You can work wherever you wish. Yes, Rich. No shit, buddy. And Big Two can and do hire from wherever around the world they wish. An American living and working in the USA may be preferable for most jobs, as they are more likely to have a common cultural and social language with the editors and other figures of Marvel or DC Comics. However, the more recent increase in artists from other country who aren't paid any less, but where dollars may stretch further, show thus is far from an insurmountable problem. Yeah, so it's no secret these guys just don't hire in America. They hire from Brazil or Philippines. And I keep saying, I'm not saying there's bad artists in Brazil or Philippines. They have some tremendous artists out there. I will never say that they shouldn't hire people that are in those countries. That would be stupid. And it makes financially business sense to have your dollar be stretched as far as it can. That makes perfect sense from an actual business perspective. But keep in mind here, they're only doing that so they don't have to pay the better artists here. It's not because they truly think they'll find better out there. They don't want to pay the best artists here for that.
Yeah, it has nothing to do
cynical than anything.
It has nothing to do with quality, because there are some amazing Brazilian, Filipino, Chinese, Japanese artists, amazing. But in the Philippines, you pay them $160 American. That's like you paying me $500 American a month or $1,000. So
they can live in a mansion in their country with that kind of money.
Financial math. That's the reason why jobs get shipped overseas. That's why iPhones are made with slave labor in China, is because they can pay them less and they can
get more volume out of it. Yeah,
make more money. That's what Marvel's doing. They pay these guys $160. They love it, and they get all this good quality artwork out of them. And that's why now it's like, if you look at some Marvel titles, it's like I can pronounce the name of the writer, but I can't quite pronounce the name of the artist anymore.
Yeah,
because they're going to foreign countries to get their artists.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, is if they literally just paid the artists that we have good here more money, you get all those big names back for you. And if you just, I don't know, treat them good and actually give them money, you get them. But from a business point of view, it's crazy how Marvel Comics is a penny pincher. That's crazy. Think about. Also, as a penciler, you can also sell your original work. For someone starting out, that might be an average of around $100 a page, depending on the characters and the action sequences. Now, if your art boards are inked, you will usually get 2/3 of them back. Some pencilers send in scanned pencils for inkers to ink. And so to keep all their pencil boards, the demand and price for them is less, but the penciler gets to keep all of them. The same is true for the inked boards done on scanned in and printed pencils. The inker keeps them all, but the demand is less. That inker, by the way, starting out $100 a page, but you are expected to work faster than a penciler and could earn more. Can you explain what the hell that meant in artist terms?
Inkers are paid starting out at $100 a page, and they're expected to work faster because you're working over my art. So then my art's already established. I have to construct a page and make that page work and then draw everything.
Okay, so your job is have to be a fast fill-in guy to color it all in. Okay.
But most artists ink their own shit. So I don't know if that's still big at Marvel, but I know indie-wise, like I ink my own stuff. Most artists do their own inking just because Now they get paid $260 on that project, same project, because they're doing penciling and inks. So now they're making $260 per. But when you get to the bigger guys, like back in the 90s, there was inkers for everybody. No one really inked. They did their own pencils, and then very few guys did their own inking. But you're starting to see that switch now because you become a 2-in-1 then. But then also too, that adds more time onto your project. So now each 8-hour page might turn into a 12-hour page. And if that's true, then that means it's going to take you longer to finish a 24-page book.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you're going to be working more hours on it. So now so now it's like, okay, well, now I'm taking 30 days to pencil and ink 24 pages. Yeah, so yeah, it's still not good. Even with the added extra 100 on there, you lose it to just hours worked.
Either way, a starting out Big Two penciler should add another 15 to 20K onto their salary by selling their original work generated and returned in that year. This is where he's never going to tell you this, because this is what I even know myself. You sell your original artwork to them, they put it on like t-shirts and all that stuff. They'll pay you for it. They'll pay you up front for it, but you get no additional, let's say, royalties, because I know they're not called royalties in the industry. They have to call it something different.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay you royalties. So here's what you know: the guy that created that iconic X-Men logo, you guys all know and love with the whole yellow border too. That guy created that, and Marvel bought it for $250. You would think that guy's a fucking millionaire for them. They use that logo in everything. He's not. They want to basically take your original work, put it on t-shirts, lunch pails, backpacks, put on their website without giving you royalties for it. Because Marvel doesn't do royalties the same way DC does. The reason why people like working at DC more is you can potentially hit it big with royalties based off your creator-owned thing, your creator-owned characters you made up, and your collected editions. Even if Marvel gives you collected editions, you don't make anything. The only person that probably makes good money off collected editions is Rob Liefeld, based off his own personal deal with them that they hate at this point now, and probably Chris Claremont, maybe, and Jonathan Hickman. I'll throw him in there. He probably gets paid a decent amount of money for his collected editions, but they want to take your original artwork and then not pay you royalties for it, even though you probably made them billions of dollars in money. You can get, come on. I gave you $300 for it. Oh, fuck off. Actually, go fuck yourselves. Shit. If they so wish, putting you more on about $55,000. Of course, you may also be selling away your future. Those art boards have a tendency to accumulate in value over the years, like I just said.
Yeah.
If you are working digitally, however, you don't have that option, but you can work faster and maybe find it easier to be a penciler / inker as well. However, the original art market is also why the majority of Big Two artists are still creating original art rather than switching to digital.
Yeah, because Marvel's not paying them. Because if Marvel was paying them more, they would switch to digital. Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is if Marvel's paying you $38,000, and then they're letting you sell your penciled art boards, your 11x17 pencils. Well, how much money does it cost you to sell them? Because you have to ship them, you have to do table fees, you have to do advertisement, you have to create a store to sell them on. So then you get that chunk out of it. You got to pay taxes on it, take that chunk out of it. And it's just like, yeah, thanks, Marvel, for allowing me to sell my own work, so I could barely break above the poverty line. Yeah, thanks a lot, asshole.
Thanks a lot, you fucking bastards. Damn. That's why, what's that saying? It's not show friends, it's show business, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. You can then add to all of this, including convention commissions. Rich, please stop it. I want you guys to really factor this in. If they paid their artists a decent amount of money, which is, as we know now, just the artists, not writers, if they pay them above minimum wage, do you think all the artists would be making commissions on the side? No. I fully believe if you truly paid them a livable wage, that's not what they're paying right now. these artists would definitely not be going to conventions. These people literally don't even like you. As we're being honest here, commissions, covers, prints, and the like, which should be worth further tens of thousands if you can find the time and maybe an agent. Yeah, and pay the agent too. Being a big two artist might also increase demand for your work. That's the clout thing, even if it reduces the time you have to do it. And while as the decades pass, you should get more than a starting Marvel artist does, there's no guarantee. Also, there's no company pension. Yeah, which means no retirement, no 401k. So you could essentially make Marvel like billions of dollars off your character. Essentially could, hypothetically in theory. But you get no pay for that. Which is also why you might want to take advantage of the fans you have gained for your Marvel and DC work and see if you can pull them over to your creator-owned comic book. Even he's suggesting doing your own indie work to make sure you have all the money to yourself, which if it gets made into a film or TV show, might actually get you a pension, which is like given how the markets work now, that's not a thing anymore. I mean, Mark Miller hit it big when they chose him and Robert Kirkman. And I think the person that made I wonder, what did Amazon pay the guy that made The Boys, that comic book? But
that was Grant. Was that Grant Morrison that wrote that one? I think it's Grant Morrison. Well, that's the thing, though. Mm-hmm. What's sad is this article's right. Like, yes, these are all ways you can use your Marvel job to make money. But the problem, what I see, though, is that if you work at Marvel, then you really shouldn't have to be doing all this other bullshit. Like, you're working, like, if I'm a professional wrestler and I make it to the WWE, I shouldn't be on food stamps anymore. If I'm fighting in the UFC on a televised pay-per-view event, then I shouldn't be struggling to survive. It's like, but that's what happens when you're independent contractors, though. It's like you don't work for Marvel. They contract you to do a book, but you're not going to be a Marvel employee.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Christmas card,
Yeah, that's the other thing that people don't understand when it comes to contractor work versus actual employee work. When you're an employee, you have to give them. I mean, you don't have to, but most jobs do pay benefits. If you're a contractor, that's kind of like, we don't really have to give you anything but the money that we said we're going to give you. Yeah. As a comic book creator, you are in charge of your career more than anyone else. If this is what you choose to do, fine. But there are so many other options out there that you can be a successful comic book creator without going anywhere near the big two. However, for smaller comic book publishers working in the direct market, work for hire can pay around a third of the Marvel/DC rate. It may take an agent and a middle grade or young adult graphic novel series to make money these days, or you may get lucky with a webtoon. But this kind of thing is more accessible than it ever has been. And you have a greater ability to explode your work to more people than ever before. But of course, so has everyone else. Okay, so I mean, yeah, I agree with mostly all of this, but like the idea is, why is that even a thing if you're fucking working for Marvel and DC?
Yeah.
And I fully get it from a business point of view. Not every character is going to sell very well. That's fully understandable. And I do believe that if you have someone starting out, they should kind of go on like a very underrated character and prove themselves there first before getting shots at Batman and Spider-Man and all those big characters too. But
yeah,
this is also not reflecting the aspect in the industry that before all of this came into play, there was legendary artists and writers that didn't have this before. There were all this good stuff with like crowdfund. This stuff came way later. And what if some of these guys are like 60, 70 years old? They don't know how all that stuff works. Some people are not, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people are not just dedicated online internet people. Like I imagine Peter David's not just sitting on the internet every day.
Some of us despise the internet sometimes.
Oh, God. But yeah, that's the end of that. So, what are you thinking, man, for your final thoughts and opinions on what the artists make at Marvel and DC?
I think it's sad. I think Marvel's taking advantage of people. I don't agree that, your part of your pay for your job shouldn't be essentially clout or exposure bucks, where it's like you get exposure drawing our character, we'll let you sell the pages that you drew of our character, and then you can use that name that we gave you to go to and do more work, and you can make money off of that. So it's like essentially just like, it's exposure. Like, we're giving you clout so you can use that clout to make money. So now we're not going to pay you. Like, there's bars and restaurants that pay waitresses under minimum wage because they make tips. And it's like, no, if you're working for a big time, you should be making what you're worth, and you should be making more. That should be the level of standard when it comes up to, because you're talking about working with IPs, you're going to generate millions of dollars. And if you have a successful run, like the artist for the Ultimate Spider-Man, it's like, well, we're going to pay you dirt cheap, but you're going to use that clout. You can go and do something else, and hopefully people recognize your name from working on our characters. So, yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I could see, like, I used to dream about working for Marvel. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I would rather work on my own stuff. I'd rather spend all month working on my own comic, and then I can sell it, and I can have all the money from it and all the rights from it, and I don't have to worry about 14 hands taking chunks out of it. So yeah, I don't agree with it at all. I don't like it, and I think Marvel needs to restructure.
No, they need to and fire most of their people, honestly.
Well, yeah, I said it the nice way.
DC might be a little bit better because of the whole royalty aspect, but then it's like, that's another thing that gets like, okay, well, they're gonna definitely put you on characters that are not known at all, so you're not gonna have that as a possibility. The collected editions won't sell as well because you're on a character that isn't known. No one's gonna really care unless it's literally the best word of mouth of that character that has ever existed. In that character that's not known's tenure, you ain't getting shit. What happened with Tim Sheridan? Remember how he said, oh, all the royalties I'll get from this Alan Scott gay Green Lantern book, it'll go to the Elton John's Aid Foundation. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we know the history of that. He made no money.
Yeah.
DC's like, you could make some royalties, but you're going to get to write, I don't know, Our Man. Fuck it. Here, make Our Man make us money.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I think also too we have to come to reality too that the business is not great. Comics are not great. Someone mentioned who was it? Oh yeah, John in the chat mentioned Psylocke has shot up in popularity due to Marvel Rivals, which may help out her book a little bit, but they're not seeing a great correlation between popular over here means more people are traveling to comic shop
ever.
Yeah, there's not a great, like, don't get me wrong, like Jeff the Shark, I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that every character that's loved in the medium over here is going to transfer over. So it's just when you're talking about just the comic side of the media, that's not doing well, and it's not in enough places, and they've got a lot of work to do. So, with DC, if you're working for them, you might have a better chance, because what happens when your story gets put into a DC compact, and then you might be making some money that way.
Might
or
get a DC's finest book.
Imagine you get teamed up with Scott Snyder. Well, now all of a sudden, it's like, like we don't recognize you, but you're working with Snyder on this book, along those. There are chances for it, but it's you shouldn't be able to regulate wages based on chances. It's like, I'm going to pay you dirt poor because there's like a 1/1,000,000th of a chance that you might blow up and make shit tons of money and have a movie made after your character. It's kind of just like,
or even that. I know a lot of you guys are, we're fans of the MCU back in the day. You know that movie Captain America: Winter Soldier? So that is a story written by a comic book writer named Ed Brubaker.
Yeah,
and they paid that guy $1,000 and a trip to the premiere. It was a big story. Even if you weren't a comic book fan and you're just an MCU fan, you probably heard of it. Although there made national headlines, but it was a story that is very known. Jim Starlin, the guy that created Thanos, I think, created Thanos, only got paid $5,000. Keep in mind, these are people's stories that have made Marvel literally billions of dollars. Even Mark Miller, you guys know Mark Miller? Well, he wrote the story called Marvel Civil War comic book. And he also inspired how the Avengers are, like the Ultimates. Nothing. Mark Miller even said he made more money doing Kick-Ass than every book he ever did at Marvel. Every book he did at Marvel. Old Man Logan. He did Civil War. He did the Ultimate X-Men. He did Ultimate X-Men, right? He did The Ultimates. Okay? Just those 4 right there. The ones that know off the top of my head. He said he made more money doing Kick-Ass than those 4 books.
Yeah.
That is actually insane.
Well, that's what's great about that creator owned. That's great about that creator owned, just because you make bigger chunk
he
of the
worked
pie.
on every big character. Mark Miller has literally worked on every big character you can think of. And he obviously got the clout for it. He did. But it's like, there was no guarantee he was ever going to get that Netflix deal. No way Marvel knew back then. Oh, we knew how a streaming service would work. We knew he'd get paid. You didn't know that, you fucking lying sacks of shit.
Because there's a lot more Marvel artists barely surviving than there are getting movies made of their personal IPs. So let's not get too, Marvel needs to, there needs to be like a reality check about, it's like, and here's the thing, Marvel, you're putting out 80 titles and like 3 or 4 of them are doing decently. Maybe you need to cut down titles then and pay the artists that you do keep on more.
Yeah, I think
maybe you need to pay more.
It's the thing that video games have, where they're hiring all these people, wasting all this budget, and it's like, you cut all these jobs up that are literally not needed. I don't need a person to hand me coffee. I'm pretty sure we don't need that.
Quality over quantity. Like, don't be chasing trends. Just do quality over quantity, and then pay your people better, and let's build a little bit better of a market than what they've got going on now. Instead, Marvel's like, oh, Deadpool's popular, and let's throw him into 40 books. And it's like, oh, Jeff the Shark, people like him, and he starts popping up everywhere, and let's do like 4 Jeff the Shark titles. It's like, no, you're dumping money down trying to chase a trend, when what you should be working on is, let's work on quality books and let's downsize until we can get ourselves where we can have nothing but mostly quality product coming out. A high standard quality product. We're going to pay more and we're going to make a better deal. And
this is the thing that people won't get before we head out of the video, is if you pay the well-known artists what they really want, they'll want to do their best work. And like, guys, do you guys not think Ed Brubaker doesn't want to work for Marvel? Do you think he wants to do random shit at like Image Comics? I'm not, no offense to Image and like Dark Horse and all that shit, but like, this guy, essentially, it's like the idea in the novel world where you create an idea for a book and it just hits big and you're a millionaire or you make a lot of money. Yeah, he probably felt the same way too. He made a story with Captain America Winter Soldier that a lot of people read in the comic books. It was very well liked. It's been reprinted many times. It was even part of the Marvel Premiere Collection that just started up recently. Winter Soldier is considered the best MCU movie by far, right? And the guy that made that story, the one that it's based off of, hates their guts.
Yeah.
He literally hates them. That's insane. He'll never work for your company ever again. The guy that you used his stories from, and they generated hundreds of millions of dollars because you just didn't want to give him what he was really worth. So what the fuck?
It's ridiculous. It is completely ridiculous, and it's disrespectful, and it's what happens when you forget about who brought you there. Like, you forget about that the creator of the product is just as important as the seller of the product, the packager of the product. Everyone along that line is important. And when you think that you can just kind of swap out writer-artist combinations and produce a product based upon focus group trending, then you're going to fail. And you're going to get to the point where, like with video games, you have studios with thousands of people spending billions of dollars being spanked by a 30-person team in some, Swedish in Sweden, who and they just spank you on quality, on product, and on everything. And because they're working within their scope, Marvel needs to just downsize this down. And it's like, okay, if we need to go down from 80 titles to 20, then do it. And then slowly build back up again, but build a base based upon quality. And even DC needs to do that, because even though I love the Absolute, there's still a lot of garbage in DC. So it's not like DC's, they're doing better than Marvel, in my opinion. They're trying to reach more people. DC Compacts was a brilliant idea. Getting into dollar stores is a brilliant idea. I think that they're doing good to try to recapture a lost audience. Marvel is starting to fall in line, but just like with Disney, it's almost like they have so much money that they don't notice how much they're losing as fast as other people. So
it's at the point now where no one even wants to go and write X-Men for them or be the head of the X-Men project. That's crazy. You have X-Men and no one wants to go and work for you. So yeah, my final thoughts are, Marvel, this is your fault. And it's crazy how a business strategy you had back in the day that basically borderline bankrupted you. I don't know why they keep the same system. Literally, I'm not even saying you have to pay these people like fucking $100K a year. Just if you raised it to about $50K overall, I promise you will get a little bit more of the people that you discarded back. Like no one wants to basically put in like 100% of something and then you give them 30.
Yeah, they should be doing 50K base with all of the other stuff. Like you get to keep the art and sell it. You get to do the commissions. You do all that stuff, but your base pay should be 50K or more. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, Marvel Comics, you suck ass. And DC, oh, good job put people in a hot girl. Yep. How many collected editions are you selling of that dog shit? So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys.